Good day, doctor. My name is Lin Chiu Hong, matrix number 253161. The topic that I'm going to present is Contributions of Law, Theories of Justice. First of all, I would like to present the background of the theory. John Rawls was an American moral and political philosopher in the liberal traditions. He was born in 1921 in USA. During his young age, he exposed to the injustice of the modern world, witnesses at first-hand shocking poverty in the United States and the horrors and horrors of the Second World War. All the things that he witnesses has inspired him to go into academia by using the power of ideas to change the unjust world. Hence, the theory of justice was published by him in 1971 to articulate and defend a detailed vision of egalitarian liberalism. Rawls takes the basic structure of society as his subject matter, and his principal opponent is to oppose utilitarianism. This is because Rawls argues that the utilitarian idea is a society organizes its institutions and law so as to maximize the aggregate utility. Therefore, a theory of justice came into existence where law attempts to address the issue of distributive justice in the society. The concept of the theory of justice is each person possesses an inviolability founded on justice that even the welfare of the state cannot override. Therefore, the rights secured by justice are not subject to political bargaining or to the calculus of social interests. There are two principles that derive from the theory. First is equality principle. This principle is to ensure that everyone has equal access to the basic human needs, rights, and liberties. While the second principle is called different principles, is to emphasize the idea of fair equality of opportunity and the equal distribution of social economic inequalities. These principles mentions that the inequalities of income and welfare are considered to be fair if these inequalities are for the benefit of the worst off. Next, I would like to discuss the contributions of Rawls' theory of justice. The first contribution is it promotes equality in the society. The view of ignorance was introduced by Rawls as it held that all human beings in the society should be placed in the original situations. The view indicates that they don't know their own social status, natural abilities, and economic conditions, and they don't know what they will end out in society. This ensures that no one is advantaged or disadvantaged by the outcome of the natural chance, and all persons are similarly situated in the society. Hence, the society will not likely to decide principle that favor to himself and able to choose the principle that fails to all persons. Therefore, theory of justice have ensured that everyone has equal rights to life, right to work, right to speech, right to peaceable assembly, and so on. The second contribution of theory of justice is to protect the rights of the minority. According to Rawls, life should not be sacrificed for the sake of the majority. It means that certain rights should not be violated no matter if it benefits to others. For example, the 10% of the person in the society are happy as their health is sterling, but this decision increasing happiness for the remaining of 90%, and it seems to justify the slavery and unfairly neglecting the rights and interests of a minority. Hence, Rawls thought that no one had accounted to this problem adequately, and therefore in his theory he writes that justice is the first virtue of social institutions and laws need to be reformed if they are unjust. Therefore, Rawls' theory of justice has criticized the concept of utilitarianism for ignoring the minorities and undervaluing the unequal distributions of benefits in order to protect the rights of the minority and to uphold the justice in the society. The third contribution of theory is to avoid greater evil or injustice. For Rawls, the erroneous theory is tolerable or acceptable in the absence of a good one. The purpose is to avoid greater act of injustice if it is necessary or in a situation where there is no law at all. For instance, there might be morally rights to kill if its purpose is to prevent the presence of killing more innocent people. Therefore, the theories will cease to accept some injustice act if it used to avoid the happening of greater injustice or evil in the society. Third, I would like to discuss the example law and cases that illustrating the role theories of justice. According to Article 6 of Federal Constitution, all forms of slavery and forced labor are prohibited except for the compulsory service for national purposes. Moreover, Section 13 of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007 clearly states that any persons who traffic in persons for purpose of exploitation commits an offence, and the meaning of exploitation is defined under the same act to include the forced labour. According to Section 374 of the Penal Code, it mentioned that it's a criminal offence to unlawfully compel any person to labour against the will of that person. This can be seen in the case of Sue Alai and others versus public prosecutor. In this case, the complainant was a 29-year-old Cambodian national who had entered Malaysia legally as a domestic maid. The long hours of work, the failure to pay her salary, and the assault on the complainant would lead to the conclusion that the labour of the complainant was forced labour. The court held that even Section 13 of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007 cannot be invoked, as there was no evidence to justify that the complainant was being trafficked in the forms of coercion. But the court held that the appellant should have been charged under penal code for the offence of voluntarily coercing her in order to protect the maid. Reliance can also be made to a case of Subramania Anuraki Ramachandran versus Pendawat Raya. In this case, three police reports were lodged against the appellant on allegation by three Indonesian nationals regarding the exploitation and abuse committed by the appellant. And the court held that the failure to pay the salary was a breach under Employment Act 1955. So we can see that all the laws and cases seem to protect the rights of the forced labour as a minority in the society in order to ensure that they have equal rights to be protected under the law. It also helps to prevent the happening of greater evil or injustice, such as the revenge or protest of the forced labour as a minority in society. Hence, I believe that the law theory of justice contributes to the society to ensure that everyone has equal rights to uphold the justice in the society. Thank you.